as long as you see the good video that I'm doing. You know, I mean, I hate to see you miss any part of my videos. I mean, they're just on the money. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this back a little bit for two reasons. And I'm using this because I want to get a sharp, clean cut. Normally I would just use the strippers, but when I use this heavy stuff, I like to make sure that I have a good cut. I have used the strippers, but then I end up using that anyway, so now let's see here. I want to make sure. What I want to try to do is pull this off, which I don't think it's going to happen. I'm probably going to have to slice it. Now there's a shield behind this. That's why I'm taking it easy, because I don't want to cut the shield. And I don't know if I'm going to get this off there or not. Probably not. I'm probably going to have to split it, which I don't want to, but okay, good. I am. There we go. Good. I'll show you why that in a minute. Now, when I take a connector, let's see which one. I got so many back there. I just want to make sure. I mean, some of them you can tell right off the bat because of the color. And usually, these are pretty good. You know, if I took that off and sanded that down, it would probably be okay. But we'll play with that another day. All right, so it really doesn't make a difference. These are both good connectors. So, all right. So the first thing we do is we want to take the sleeve off, because you want. Well, okay, we're not going to get that sleeve off. We got a thread issue. There we go. Okay. First thing you want to do is take the sleeve off, because that's got to go on first. If you don't put that on there, you're going to end up taking it all apart. Now this has little holes in it. Can you see those little holes in there? Well, that's so that you can solder that to the shield. Now, you can also just screw this on. You bring the shield down over the case, and then when you screw this on, because this will thread onto the shield as well. It's made to put a reducer in there, but you can thread it on. You'll end up with a ground out of that, but sometimes the threads end up cutting the shield, and you don't end up with the ground as good as you want it to be. But on the other side of the coin is if you're soldering in here, and you solder it, and you get it too hot for too long, it'll melt through and short out the coax. Because then what happens is, well, I don't have a piece here to show you, but you'll see it in a minute. So what I do is I kind of try to get both. I know. You can think it's be stupid. If you did it right the first time, and if you do it right the way it's supposed to be, you don't have to do it your way. You know, you always have somebody that's going to have to say something about it. Okay, so now that we have that like that, let me take a little bit more. I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it down over the cover there for a minute, just to give myself a little bit of a bend. There, get that back. Okay, now the first, I don't know, 3/16 of an inch I have shield, that's folded over on itself. Because I folded it over here, but the casing's down here. So from there to there, it's just folded over on itself. So that'll allow me to get a good solder, and it'll allow me to work with a little bit more heat if I accidentally get going with the heat a little too much. Let me get the scissors. Hold on. I want to trim some of that off. And that usually trims best with a pair of scissors. I just have to find it, that's all. Yeah, that's all. Nope. Where are you? I know you're here. Oh, again, you don't have to do it this way. This is just the way I do it. Okay, so now I'm going to trim this extra shield off, but I'm going to bring it down just a little bit so that it goes over the casing a little bit. So I'm not going to take it off right up to the end of the casing. This here way, when I thread the case, hey Nick, when I thread the connector on, I can solder it and catch some threads at the same time. Because you really don't want this sticking out from underneath the connector either. It doesn't look professional. And looking the part is everything. I think I told you, my grandfather used to be a painter for years. That's what got him out of slavery. And he ended up having a company with men working for him, and bought houses, raised 4 daughters. He did all right for himself, and he had to really work his ass off to do it. But anyway, he always used to say, if your truck looks like shit and you look like shit when you go to a job, they're going to think that's the kind of work he does. He says, you want to look clean, your truck has to be clean. You know, having some paint on your pants is one thing, but wearing paint is another. All right, so now we got to get the center out of this. So I'm going to go down just above about 1/16 of an inch or so of where that shield is. And I'm going to cut into this. Now this has a foil on it. This is a 400, the Coax, so it has a foil as well. They consider it a double shield. In a roundabout way it is. See if that'll come off yet. I don't want to. Now this is on double shield is sometimes where you don't want to use these. Because if I was to do this with this one, I'm not going to have a nice clean cut here, and I got to worry about it going over and touching the shield. So you want to make sure. I think, well, you might be able to see it. See when I stripped it? See how it started to collapse a little bit, and the silver is getting real close to that. I don't want to take that kind of chance. So then when you cut it with a blade, you get a nice clean cut. And now I can just, I don't want to really care if I fold the silver back or not, but I do want it back a little bit. So, all right, now, the casing. Why did I want to try to save as much of this as I can? Well, this one I really shouldn't have to worry about. It's a little too big. If it was a different one, I would. What I normally do with the smaller stuff is I'll cut off about 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch, and I would take it and I would slide it over that little silver part like that, because that will help prevent the silver touching the copper, and it'll help prevent this from going up there by mistake. So it's just a habit I got into. I always did it. This one's a little wide, but you know what? I think it'll be okay. I was going to put some heat shrink on it instead, but nah, it's working. All right, so we're pretty well set there. Yeah, that's it. That's not heat. Now, we want to do something here. I want to check this, because this is a heavier coax than your normal 8. And sometimes, by the time you're done putting solder on here, because you want to tin it first, you can't get it through the tip because it's too heavy. And especially if you have cheap tips, sometimes they won't go through at all. So you gotta have to pay attention a little bit. And if that happens, then you may want to take just one of these off. This is multi-strand. Take one strand off, maybe two. Is it going to hurt? Not really. It's actually going to give you a better job if you're having that problem. All right, so let's throw some tin on this. Where is this? I really don't want to start messing up this side of town here. I mean, I'll be doing it over here anyway, but I'd rather wait until I'm actually doing it. A little flux, because that'll help everything run a little better for you. Actually, I'm going to put a little flux on this too for now. Okay, I'll put some more in there later. Now I want to tin this. I'm going to put a little. Oh, I grabbed the thin stuff. Oh, great. Oh, that's all right, I guess. Now, even heating this up too much, I can melt that, what you call it, insulation that's in there. Now, normally I would put this on the bottom, and when the solder flows through, I know I got it covered. But because I'm using a gun here instead of a pencil, and I don't want any lumps. I got to get it as close and as hot as I can, because without melting it, otherwise this won't go through that end the way I want it to. I should get the other solder. The solder's a little too thin and it'll start to burn instead of doing what I want it to do. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so now we should be able to push this up through here. Push this down. I'm going to push this up and underneath. And it's starting to come out there. And eventually, yeah, see, this isn't going to work. Remember this stuff here I was telling you about didn't look right? Yeah. Just wide enough to where it was going to be a pain in the butt. Yeah, that'll do it. Bingo. Make sure that the shield isn't sticking up too much. Put this over that. Like so. Come on, be nice. I just had you over there. Oh, now you don't want to go over there? Now you're going to be a pain in the ass? I should get the other solder too. I don't like the way that solder works with the heavy gun. Gun gets too hot for it. There we go. No, there we don't go. Boy, listen to this one. Watch this video, why don't you? I just had it on there. Which one? Why am I having these issues? Why? There we go. That'll work. That one works. Okay, we'll use the red one. Just need a little bit. And again, this, you really don't need this. It's just, I feel more comfortable with it, so I do it. There. What was happening was with the casing that I was using earlier, just a minute ago, it was sliding down under the shield, which was making it hard to get the connector over it. And so now this should screw right down on there for me. And it's going to get hard now, because now I'm going to start screwing over the coax, over the casing. So now let me get the pliers. Let's get all this out of the way. And get these. And I'm going to get that other solder. This solder works great with a pencil, but it really doesn't work very well. Yeah, it doesn't really work real well with the gun. The gun just gets too hot, I'm thinking. I don't know, I'm just taking a random guess at it. Now we don't want to touch down here because that's threaded, so I'm going to use these just to grab on, only because my fingers are killing me. Normally you can probably do this without that, but I can't grip on it right now. So I'm going to bring this down. And I'm going to bring it down till I see the shield coming up through those little holes that I was talking about earlier. And they're almost there. Almost. There we go. Good deal, Governor. Right on the money. Now if you do this and you find that the holes, or the shield is not coming up to the hole, that's because you probably left too much of the, well, wherever it is. I threw it out already? Yeah, I guess I did. Of that insulation. If you leave too much on there, that's what happens. Alright, now I'm going to cut this off now, I guess. And then I get some good solder in there. And you want these kind of clean as well, because you want it to go into the radio okay. Now remember, the sleeve has to be on there because that's going to be going up there. Alright, so now we want this so we can see it. We want a little bit of an angle, and we're going to start heating a little bit on the low side because we want it to draw down. We don't want to just put it on the tip. We want to make sure that it goes down. So I'm going to put the solder iron on the low side, on the tip rather, not low power. And this here way, I'm going to start putting the solder on up here. And as it gets going, it should start sucking down. And there it goes. And you don't want to suck it down too much either. Climb up it or take it all down again. There. Okay, let me get my jacket. I'm not going to check the SWRs today. The radio may bring it down enough. But I'm not going to put an actual meter on it or an analyzer. Not just yet. I'll do that when I have them all going. I'm going to take this with me. I'm going to take this with me. Take this with me. These are the barrel connectors that I was talking about. Now, this is for putting two pieces together. Like I said, the other piece, it'll probably fit on this okay. So I'll use those for that. But if I went 2 inches, the wall's about 1 inch thick, including the foam. So I need one of these 3 inches threaded all the way, which they make them. And at that point, I can put them in there and have just enough coming through from both sides to hook up the wire to it. All right, now what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to hook up this wire to this for now. Yeah, for now. I don't need this heavy wire in here. Just I don't have a whole lot of connectors right now. Or not connectors, but pieces of coax. And I want to be able to use both radios on the antenna. So I'm hooking up the switch. This is a dual antenna switch where you would normally put one radio into it and 2 antennas. Well, I'm going to have it so I have 1 antenna with 2 radios. So let's take this one. See, right now I have it on CB, and what the hell is that? I have no idea. What the hell did I put? Ice? No, it can't be ice. It's got to be something else. Oh, ham. H-A-M. Oh, I'm losing it, guys. What I'm going to do is stick another, what you call it, through the hole, just so we don't have an open hole there for now. And we'll put this one on the other side. See, what happened was I used to have a CB in there as well, and I got a CB antenna up there, Antron 99 or something. What I like to find is another big stick, a Francis 98. Oh, those things are kick-ass antennas. But anyway, they stopped making them. But that's what this used to be. So if I wanted to talk on the CB, I'd use it. If I wanted to talk on the ham radio, because the antenna would cover 10, 11, and 12 meters. So I was able to use it. Okay, so this one is going to go here into the back of this radio. As soon as I can find the antenna. Jack. Jack. Where's the jack? Okay, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Okay. I'm saying, you were back there. You are a radio. You're a transceiver. There you go. Okay. That little hole, which is about, I don't know, I think it was 7/8 the bit that I used. But I feel the wind blowing through it. Okay, now this one goes to antenna 1. I don't remember which one that was. I think it was this one on the outer side. Well, it'll let me know. It will. See, eventually these will have their own antennas, like back there. But for now, I can use the switch and use them both. I just got to remember to flip the switch. There. Okay. And this coax is real stiff. In here, I'll use the thinner coax because I really don't need it for a couple of feet, and I really don't want to deal with all this stiff coax when I'm trying to put switches in place and do things, as I'm trying to do now, as you can see. I drop things. Oh, there goes the camera. See what I mean? This coax could be a real pain in the ass. All right, so let's turn this on, see what happens. I don't have the mic hooked up yet, which I don't want to hook it up yet, but let's see. Let's take this up to 400. Okay. Now I'm trying to see the damn lock of the VFO when I can't see what the hell I'm doing as it is. I got it locked. There we go. 400. Let's bring this down. Let's bring the shift down to 0, 0, 0. We are on, better. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's go to the other antenna. Antenna. Okay. I haven't used it in a while, so I have no idea. Oh, there we go. Antenna 2. goes to this one. Antenna 1. Okay, so I'm picking up nothing there, which is, there we go. Alright. Now this does have an automatic antenna tuner on it, which works on the, or does it work? I think, yeah, it works on both antennas, 1 and 2. But what I do is I feed it into an automatic antenna tuner, because I have 4 antennas actually, but I have 3 antennas that I use on this one all the time. So the antenna tuner allows me to run 2. And I take the second antenna and off of this, and I screw it into the antenna tuner, and then I have 2 more antennas. So I use the manual one on channel 2 all the time, or on antenna 2, because yeah, okay. So that's working, guys. Took a few seconds. Took a little bit longer than I expected. I am going to have to look for new antennas. 3-inch gizmos. I do have some 6-inch back there. That's what I'm going to put through there for now. There's no sense putting 8s and 10s and 12s because they stick out too far. And it'll actually prevent me from pushing the radios back. It's 4 o'clock, 4:15. I'm going to take a sip of this and then I'm done with this, because this is coffee. And that'll keep me awake. Let me get a, what you call it for that.